I'm Shrey Shekhar. I'm right now working in Deloitte. I just got my fourth year results about 15 days ago. So I just joined Deloitte, and I could say since you are mostly from second years, third years, and first year students, second year students, and third year students. So I would like I've been used doing competitive programming since a long time. So it's specifically when I came to college, I kind of understood that why competitive programming is so specifically important, especially for CSE and EC students. When I just sat for placements 1 year ago, about where we started placements in August itself. So it's like if you see most of these companies, whatever they come, most of them are looking for candidates who have excellent problem solving skills. Who can solve problems on their own. They can code these problems. Basically they are testing your problem solving skills, and they're testing like how you are approaching the problem. Specifically they want to know that can you solve the problem which has been given to you. If you you're going to sit in placements, as like right now, you most of them are in second year. So as soon as you start entering, in your third year, when you sit for internships, when you sit for placements and all, you'll kind of realize that most of these companies are looking for people who can solve these problems. Who can if they give you a problem, can you solve it on your own, or do you need a lot of help, or you need a new, you need someone to spoon feed it to you. They don't want these kind of people. Like, it's good to take help. I'm not saying that you should not take help, but the point is that you should make sure that your problem solving skills are top notch, because that's how these companies operate. They want people who can solve problems, and be better. And I think competitive programming and mathematics, are these two things are pretty very useful for increasing your problem solving skills. These two specifically, because since you are mostly in CSE or EC, so it would be much better to go towards competitive programming rather than mathematics, because mathematics is a different field. If you wanted to pursue mathematics, you would have taken a different course like BSc or something. But since you're doing BTech, I think competitive programming is really helpful for this specific thing. So like I said, if I have to share my own placement experience, I've given about 8 or 10 interviews in the past 6 months. 6 months itself. Like, the placement started in August, but I'm just talking about the past 6 months. So itself, I've given 8 or 10 interviews, and in almost every one of them, they were asking these questions which are found on CodeChef or CodeForces or other competitive programming platforms. So basically, as I said, they only want to test that how strong you are in this coding. Rest all, there are other things as well. Sure, there are other topics like operating systems, database management systems, and all. These topics are also there, but they specifically want to know that how good are you at solving problems and finding solutions to these. So this is why I believe that competitive programming is really important. And if you go even in a job or something, once you start your job, you'll realize that these things are going to pay you off as well. Because what let's say you have to design a website, then you have to come up with newer ways, which you can optimize the website, in which you can make specific things. You can, there'll be a lot of bugs as well, which you need to figure out solutions. So as I said, I'm trying to emphasize one important thing, and that is problem solving skills. And that is essential for almost everything, in the computer science background. So that's what I said. This is the kind of the best way to increase your problem solving skills. Participating in coding contests, even practicing. It's not necessarily true that you have to participate in contests, though I would highly recommend it. But you can participate in contests, practice problems, practice different types of mathematics problems related to computer science and all. But the main point is that all of this is really essential for placement. And if we keep placement aside, let's say you are here, specifically for studying computer science and all, then you will understand that you'll find it a lot of fun. If you're solving some problem, and you get stuck in it, you keep solving it for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then you finally arrive at the solution. That is one of the really good feelings. You feel like you have achieved something, or you kind of feel like that. So that is also something which motivates us to do even more, do even more CP. So we specifically at Return Zero, we are trying our our level best to increase our coding culture in our college. We have been, I think we started in September 2019, I guess, and from then on we have been organizing different workshops and also, and that's what we are doing again here. So if you see, like in our team as well, we have people like Yashad, who's in second year currently. Then there's seniors like Ritishek sir, Avinash sir, and all. These are also they're all people. Then there is Varun and Vikas, who are also going to interact with you in a few moments. So all of them are part of Return Zero, and all of them are very pretty good at competitive programming and trying themselves to improve their skills, to improve their coding language, and basically coding progress, you could say. So I would definitely say that if you have any doubts, if you think that competitive programming might not be useful for me, or like if you think that if you need to become a developer, you need to you don't need competitive programming, you can just learn web development and all. The thing is that this is the sad reality. The thing is, most of the companies are going to hire you because of competitive programming only. They are going to ask you questions related to these things only, no matter how much you know. The like if you see, like even in companies like Google or Amazon or Microsoft, they have 5 or 6 rounds, and if you see in most of these rounds, I think in 3 or 4 of the out of these 5 or 6, they are all based on competitive programming. They will just ask you problems, different kinds of data structures, different kinds of algorithms, and they will try to make sure that they are hiring the best candidates. So that is one of they're very, we could say it is one of the very competitive ways to hire. So that's why they choose competitive programming to hire for hiring purposes. So like I said, it is really essential, to kind of get into the CP world, because once you get into it, it will be really helpful, as I said, for placements as well. And apart from that, it will definitely increase your problem solving skills as well.
So this was a question. So how to get started with CP? Like a lot of you asked in different languages. Like some people told, could you please share the roadmap? Or some people told if you could share or if you could tell about the resources that we could use to get started. So like if you see, it was like many people wanted to know how to get started with CP. What is CP? So CP is a mind sport or a competition where you have to give solutions to a problem by writing programs. Okay, so there are different type of contests in CP. Some can have a time limit of few hours to some can even go till few days. Okay, and on what basis is CP, like on what basis is your solution going to be judged? It is they're not only going to check whether it is going to solve, whether it is giving you the required output, but it is also going to be checked on various other parameters like time and space. Like time in the sense how fast is your code able to give the output. So you should not only be able to give an solution, but you should make sure that you should have an efficient solution for a problem. This is what CP is. And there are going to be different types of events. You'll have team events or you'll have individual events. So team events, if I have to name two, you have the ACM ICPC competition or Google Hash Code. So these are two team events. Okay, so next, why is it important? Okay, so this is the most important and the main motto of the session. Okay, so makes you a desirable candidate to major companies. You might have heard now. Shoaib sir had told his experience about placement and how why CP is important, and you might have heard or read this line in the internet that CP is very important for a candidate in when it comes to job prospect. Okay, so but what happens, like a lot of us fail to understand, like even though we hear it a lot of times and everywhere around us, we still fail to understand its importance. So if you see that how general recruiting of a company is done, so you have certain rounds where a lot of candidates are filtered. The first round is maybe going to be resume, and second round is going to be the coding round. Okay, so let's say you have a lot of other skills which are development based, but those skills are going to be of use only when you reach the interview. Until, like, before you reach the interview, you have to first clear the coding rounds. Okay, and that is why CP is going to be very important. And the next thing is, CP is not only going to tell, it is going to give a very broader image of a person, because it is a mixture of problem solving and coding. So it is going to give the interviewer or a company that is recruiting a very good idea about how strong a person is in problem solving, and how much good grip he has on concepts like data structures and algorithms, and how much good grip he has on a certain language. So it gives a very good idea for a person on how good the candidate is. So you can understand the importance of CP here. And even if you go to LinkedIn, you can check out some resumes where people would include their CodeChef, like their competitive coding platform ratings. Okay, so this is also something which will add value to your resumes. And if you go a level above, if you have achieved some good competitions, then people include that, like they have cleared some ICPC regionals, or they've cleared some code jam, Google code jam round. So any other achievement in this field are also will also be included in resumes. Okay, so that is the main motive, that you are all in the right time. Okay, and you have enough time to get started with CPL, because a lot of people realize it late and they get started in the when placements are about to start. So that is too late, and you have ample amount of time, and you can even aim for bigger competitions in CP. Okay, so the next advantages is it teaches you how to work in teams. Okay, as I told, there are a lot of team events where you can learn how to collaborate in teams, and training and participation helps you prepare for career in coding. So as I told, it is not only going to help you land a good job, but also once you land in a job, so whatever you have learned, whatever the development tools that you have learned, it is not necessary that that is going to be the same once you get into the company. But the core fundamentals of data structure algorithms and all computer science concept, that is going to remain the same. Okay, so it is also going to help you to be better once you get into job also. Okay, so it is not only helping you to get into job, but also be better after getting into the job also. Okay, so this is one of the meme that uh, best depicts you, how CP is important in placements. So yeah, so it helps you solve complicated problems. As Shreya Bhaiya told that problem solving is going to become top notch when you make an habit of solving a lot of when you make an habit of giving a lot of contests and solving a lot of problems. And that is what companies are going to expect more. Okay, it makes you faster and more focused. And like if you see a lot of people, you might have seen uh, that a lot of people have this problem, that they know how to approach a solution, but they say they require a lot of time to come with a solution, or they fail in implementing the solution. So this all things, you everyone could improve, like they can become more fast, and they can have a good implementation through practicing CP. Okay, yeah. So next slide. So we understood what is CP, we understood what is its importance. Now let's see how to get started. So the first basic thing is, of course, the programming language. Okay, you have to first choose the programming language. And like taking programming language, so you have to choose Python. And just a suggestion, like try avoiding Python, because what happens in Python is, like a lot of concepts get hidden in Python compared to C++, and Python is a bit slower compared to C++ or Java. So if you're planning to start CP, then maybe you can choose C++ or Java. Just a suggestion from our end. And even if you see the majority of people who are doing CP, you can see like almost 80% of the people use C++ for competitive programming. So when a lot of people use C++, so you'll have a lot of resources to refer if you're also practicing in C++. So yeah, so but it is ultimately your choice what you want. You can choose, and choose some platform to practice competitive programming. So there are various online judges or competitive programming platforms like CodeChef, CodeForces, HackerRank, AdCode, or LeetCode. So I will discuss more on this. And the next slide. So get your hands dirty in data structures and algorithms. So this is something very important. So, and this is how you solve problems. Like by using concepts of data structures and algorithms, you come up with a solution that is going to solve a problem. So you need to have a very good grip, and the sooner you start, the better it is. Like you have a lot of time, and maybe if you start right now, that is going to help you. Like over time, you can have a very good grip on this. Keep practicing, and this is the most important part. So you should not leave. Like there might be a time when you may get you might be little demotivated, or like you may find CP difficult, but you should make sure that you have that habit of giving contests and improving from contest to contest, right? So make sure you have an habit, and don't have this habit like you put 10 hours a single day and you don't do CP for a long time. Instead, no problem if it is half an hour or 45 minutes, but try to keep consistent efforts, like every day or every alternate day. Okay, so that is how you may become more better at CP. So yeah, online judges. So what are online judges? So online judges are nothing but the platform where, which is the online platform where you can practice competitive programming, and you can give contests, and you can compare yourself to the rest of the others, and you can see where you stand among them. So there are a lot of I have named six online judges, but there might be more. Okay, you can try in any of these platforms and choose whichever feels better. Okay, for today, for this workshop, we are planning to do this on CodeChef. And yeah, so yeah, so what are the resources that you can use for CP, right? So yeah, like this might be a lot of members question. I'm going to open links. Like I'm not just putting these links taking from the internet, but these are some sources that I have personally used, and I've also heard like I've heard people that they have found it very much helpful. So yeah, this the first source is from, yeah, this is from Geeks for Geeks. If you see, there is a complete section in Geeks for Geeks for competitive programming, like saying there is a blog that is in increasing order of difficulty, and like it starts from with arrays, and then it goes with like all algorithms like dynamic programming and all. So you can start by this. Okay, and if you are a person like who prefer a little video based tutorial, then you have a page in CodeChef that this is competitive programming. You can find it here, CP tutorials. So you have mini courses on each concept. These are the educators. You can just check out. Then this link is going to take you to YouTube, and you can have that small courses like that particular topic covered. And if you want a very tailor-made content for you, here it is. Like you have a beginner track, intermediate track, or advanced track, and you can choose whichever feels appropriate for you. Okay, and okay, so yeah, so there is one book. This is one book. The third link. This is the third link is a book. So it is around a 300 pages book. Yeah, is anyone have it up? You can put things in the comments. I hope, like not comments, and yeah. Okay, so yeah, these are all based on C++ only. These are all based on C++. As I told in the Geeks for Geeks, the first link you have in different languages as well. But like as I told, like a lot of people use C++, so it is it is very obvious that you'll find resources in C++ only. Like because when a lot of people are using that, so resources are also going to be more in that language only. Okay, so the third one is a book around 300 pages book that is written like that is also like how you should get started, how to give your first contest, and what is like it is a very detailed book on how to get started with competitive. We'll circulate these links if you require. And the third link is like the fourth link is maybe a little advanced one. If you reach that decent level of competitive programming, then you could use that also. Yeah. So discussing about some prestigious competitions in competitive programming. The first one in the list is ACM ICPC. Okay. So ACM ICPC, you might have heard. You might have heard that you might have heard one like this competition to referred as Olympics of programming. Like, okay, if you might have come across ACM ICPC anywhere. So this is that like big level of programming contest. If I have to define this in one line, it is simply the larger, the most oldest, and the most prestigious competition, you can say. Okay, so this is a team-based event. Okay, so every institute is going to have a team, and you have to qualify regionals, and then you'll have the world, like some 2-3 rounds, and the world finals at the end. And the next two is Google Code Jam and Facebook Hacker Cup. These are individual events organized respectively from Google and Facebook. So yeah, these are also very big competitions with huge prize amount. You can aim for that. And the fourth one is a little less known, Top Coder Open. And yeah, this is also an individual event. So all the four competition that I've mentioned, you're going to have a world finals there, where you'll be called in their location, called to their location. And yeah, very few are going to be selected for the world finals. If you want, you can aim for such competitions also. You have a lot of time. Yeah, so let's get started. So uh, let's create an account like in CodeChef, and even solve a problem. I'm going to put a link, a spreadsheet link uh, in the chat. If you already have a CodeChef ID, you can update it in the Excel sheet. Okay. Or like now I'm going to show you how to create a CodeChef ID. And once you're done creating CodeChef ID, you can also update it in the Excel sheet. So we'll have like whose username is like whom. Like, okay. So okay. So we'll see how to create an account at CodeChef. Okay. So it's a bit slow, I guess. Yeah. So this is CodeChef. If you already have an account, you can log in through by giving your username and password. But if you're a new user, you have a button here which states new user, and go for new user. And now you have to choose your username. Okay, so let me try. I don't know if this is the. If you people already have a account, please update it in the link given. Okay, in the Excel sheet or the spreadsheet that I've sent. If you don't have, then please watch this and simultaneously make one. Okay, yeah, I can see all, like a lot of people have already started filling. Great. Okay, so when you're giving your institute, make sure it is right. Like after you write Indian Institute of Information Technology, there's a comma and then a space. Then you'll have Dharwad. Okay, so it is in this format. Then it's the. So let's continue. Okay. Okay, so now we'll see how to make a first submission or how to solve a problem on CodeChef. Okay, so if you see here, you're having a section in practice and learn. And then like if you're starting now, we would like to suggest to go with option called practice problems by difficulty level. Okay, so here you'll get in grouped. The questions are grouped based on difficulty order. So one, you have the beginner, easy, medium, hard. So you can start with beginner. Then if you find you're comfortable with it, then go with easy, then medium, like according to your convenience. So now we'll try to solve the most basic question, that is adding two numbers. Okay, so let's see. So this is the problem statement. So problem statement is, it tells you what you're expected to do. It is like an explanation of the problem. Okay, so this is the problem. So it is explaining. It is telling that there is a person named Shivam, and is 12 years old, and he's learning programming today. So he's writing his first program like us. So the program is very simple. You'll be given two integers a and b, and you have to return the sum of this. Okay, so now the next section is going to be the input. So what does this tell you? Okay, the input section tells you, so I'll just show you here. See, so the inputs will be given you in this format. Okay, like here, this is an example input test case. So here if you see, the first line contains an integer t, that is the total number of test cases. Total number of test cases here, like here, uh, the test case is two numbers a and b. So here you can see the t is 3. The first input, they've told you that the first line, the first number that is given, that is t. Okay, so here if you see it is 3, then then what it means is that you'll be given three pairs of numbers that you're supposed to add and return. Okay, so here the test, the value of t is 3. So then you will be given three pairs of numbers. So if you see, the first pair is 1 and 2. So you have to take input as 1 and 2 and return it sum. Okay, and in the second case is 100 and 200. Take their input, take both numbers as input, then like find the sum, then you have to print it in the output. And one more thing, like you have, if output is given in this format, you have to print in the same format. You don't have to print like the sum of a plus b is like the text and all. So that is not required. And if you give that, if you print all those things, the your summation will be considered wrong, because the platform like CodeChef or Codeforces, it is going to compare your outputs. Okay, so this is the output that is expected. So nothing more is expected. And if you try to include anything more that is not required, it automatically, your summation is going to be considered wrong. Okay, so let's try. This is one like basic problem. So let's try solving this. Okay, so right now I'm using code blocks for solving. Like you people have seen the test case, right? First will be given t, then based on number, like what the value of t is, will be given that many number of times, like number of pairs of a and b. Then we have to find the value, and then we have to print it. So let's move to code blocks and try to solve this in C++. I'm using C++. Okay. Yeah, fine, great. So so let's do let's not keep forget test case, like what we had to take input as t, but approach with like how we add two numbers, like include the header files. This is the main function where we'll write the main part of. Okay, and And so how are we, like how will we add two numbers? First, we define two variables that we are going to take the input AB. Then we are going to take their inputs through Cin. Okay. Now the inputs are stored in A and B respectively. Now you have to do nothing. A plus B. Okay. So see, now what happens? One more mistake. What people do is in initial time, you will only stop it to C out and A plus B, right? But if you see the test cases, okay, if you see the test case, uh, like after printing every output, it moves to the next line, right? So you should also take care of that only like one pair of numbers, like if you have one A and B, that output is produced in one line and the next output is produced in the next line. So what you have to include here, you should not stop to A plus B. You should either put uh, uh, the line, the next line character, or endl, whichever you feel comfortable with. Okay, so this is how we add two numbers. Okay, so if you see here, we'll try running it. We'll give two numbers, 5 6, and you get 11. Okay, but now this is not what they're expecting. They're telling that you'll be having, you'll be given an input t, and you have to execute this code t times. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll take p and we'll run this part of the code t times. Okay, so that t means what? It means that many pairs of numbers are given as input. So what we have to do, we have to run the same code t times, so that for every fresh for every new pair of numbers that we get as input, we are able to produce the output. So and you should include a return 0 at the end, or club name. So we will indent it properly. Okay, so now how can you check whether this code is right or wrong? Okay, so you go to CodeChef. CodeChef. You can see this is the input test case. So now what you have to do, you have to run your code by providing this as your input. So I'll just give it a run. Okay, and now let's copy the test case and paste it. So if you see here, for 1 and 2, so for 1 and 2, you got 3 as output. For 100 and 200, you got 300 as output. For 10 and 40, you got 50 as output. So this is called, like, whatever the test case that is shown here, this is known as a sample test case. So this sample test case is working fine for us. Now you can proceed with the submission. Right. Now, like I told, some people just forget to include endl or endline. So what happens then is, try executing that also. Okay, what happens then is, see, this is what happens. So you put 1 and 2, then 3 gets printed in the next line, and the 100 and 200 is not taken in the next line. Like 100 and 200 should be taken in the next line. Okay, so you get a wrong output. Okay, so include, now let's make the summation and check. So you should see how to make a submission. You press the submit button. Now you will be asked of which language. Okay, then you go to your code. you paste it here. And what you can do is you can also run your test cases here. Okay, like yeah, this is, oh, sorry, you can give any test cases. Let's say two. I'm giving two test cases, two for 12 and 5 and 21 and 0. So if you run this, you can test it without submitting. Okay, then see, you can check your output here, 1721, and now you can give a submit. Okay, so let's see. Please don't tell this is wrong. Oh, this is, yeah. So this is correct. So this is the problem, and this is how you submit. And this remains same in contests also. In contests also, you're given questions. You open the question. You see what is the problem statement. Then you see the test cases, that what is expected as input and what is expected as output. And then you write your code, check with the test cases, then submit. Okay. So this is how you submit your uh, problem in CodeChef.
Question about the it. Like I have been having issues finding the right problems. Actually, Rohit, there is nothing called right problems. Problems that are too easy are easy because the method of solving guarantee. And I feel like if you are a bit more off, then you can practice on the uh, algorithms that are using in that problem specifically.
Yeah.
And the second question about the placements this year.
Okay, I'll answer your question. So basically, like if you are from computer science background, I think placements were pretty good this year. If you see, like there were a lot of companies which visited, which were offering about between 8 to, the highest was Geo, which was offering 15 LPA. So
And there were some people also who were selected for the interview round for Uber.
yeah, and like off campus also, some people got placed in through Cisco and other ways. I myself gave interview Goldman Sachs itself, so like it was pretty good. If you see, if you combine both on campus and off campus as well, it was pretty good for the computer science department as well. So I won't say that it is a problem now. And plus now, since the campus and all are already built, so it would get even better, from this batch itself. Because earlier there were problems, like there were no campus, and also companies were hesitant of visiting. But they're now getting better and better. And as far as stats updation, I think they will update it on the website. Because I'm not sure. You might have to ask Hegde sir with that.
And secondly, the placements are mostly dependent on the quality of the students. And so we will morely focus on that. We should increase our quality of studying and we should learn the skills that are required by the companies. And the third question is if you want to go towards web development or data science. Uh, so Vishnu, actually web development and data science both are the different fields, totally different fields. For both of them, learning algorithm and developing the problem solving skills is more important because if you are good at problem solving skills, you will easily analyze the data in data science and you will find some great ways and optimized way to make the web development.
So we have a question from Harsh Rawat. So he's saying, during CP, we often get a TLE, time limit exceeded. So can you suggest ways to solve it? See, like when you get time limit exceeded, no. So there is a problem with the algorithm that you're using. Maybe you're using the most obvious, like most common method. Like sometimes you would have included two for loops, like two like nested for loops, and that is like that will be taking a lot more time. So when you get TLE, it is like mostly you have to change the algorithm or make use a better algorithm to solve it. That. So as you study about algorithm or when you when we have shared some resources, if you go through that, you'll understand this better.
Any other question? If you have some question, ask us. Oh, sometimes I get the correct outputs in my ID, but the solution on the code sheet. So Aditya, the answer is you don't only have the sample test cases that are given on the website. You have some more test cases that are hidden from you. And if your ID is maybe that your program is giving the right answer for maximum uh, test cases, but for some edge test cases, it may be failing. So you should find the edge test cases like for 0, 1 or something like this. Edges of the constants. Like if you are finding some constants like uh, 0 to 10 to the power 5, so you should check for 0, 1 and 10 to the power 5.
It's like, and they are private test cases, they are not visible to you, and what are uploaded on the website, they are public. So you can see those public test cases, but those private test cases are not visible. So and like you have to make sure that your problem passes those private test cases as well. So basically that's all, I think, about this. Yeah, any other
Yeah,
questions you can post it in.
yeah, you can speak also if you want. Actually, Ravikant, we have something called multiplier for every language. Like if you are doing the program in Python, you will get a multiplier of 4. Like if it is giving the 1 second penalty for the C++, then for Python it is 4 seconds. So it rarely has any impact on TLE. The main problem which due to which TLE occurs is the design of your algorithm or the design of your solution, the basic complexity you are using according to that. Actually, Shashank, the answer is no. Learning WebD and app benefits only if you have the problem solving skills. Only the first thing they ask for it are the problem solving skills. If you don't have the basic cutoff, then there is no. They will not even ask you for your projects you have done. If you are not able to solve 3 to 4 questions out of 4.
Yeah, so it's like, see, when suppose you are sitting for any company, so most of those big tech companies, they would initiate, they will try to take at least 3 or 4 rounds, and they will most probably shortlist you based on like competitive programming, So if you give these 3 and 4 rounds, in the first and second round, they will ask you only competitive programming questions, This is their way to shortlist. Like if there are 300 candidates applying, I mean, 300 candidates are sitting for the interviews. So by after 2 rounds, there will be only 100 left, right? So these 200 are removed because they don't have, like, they are not good at competitive programming or something. So basically, that's as Yashad said, that is the real most basic. Like you need to know competitive programming. Only then you can go to different the above rounds. As far as once you reach those third and fourth rounds, then your projects and then your web development and app development stuff, then they will matter. But like I said, initially you have to clear that cutoff. It's like JEE mains in advance. If you want to get if you're into an IIT, you have to clear that JEE main cutoff. Then only you can like you can get 200 in JEE advance, but if you don't clear the cutoff, you won't be able to sit in it. So that's what I wanted to say. Like that is specifically required. And open source, Yashat can guide you. He cleared Google Summer of Code this year as well, so he's very credible about this. He can guide you that. Yashat.
So actually, what open source is like, there are two types of projects going on in our world. Some are economic projects and company-based projects, and some are open source projects. Open source projects are those which do not have any particular team or something like that. They are open to everyone. Uh, if you know how to code and if you know how to write good codes and include in that application, you are most welcome to contribute in that. So it's basically that is called open source. Regarding to anything, if you want,
Yeah,
all the companies written are
in open
for
source,
DSL.
anyone can contribute in open source. Like it's not specific. Like you don't. There are fixed number of people. You can just take any issue on GitHub. You can go on GitHub. There are so many companies. Just take any issue and start solving it. Ask the mentors and just there is no barrier in entrance. You can just enter and start solving the issues, solve the bugs, and then when once you kind of push, those after solving, push it on GitHub after solving those issues, then they will call you a open source contributor. That's what an open source contribution means. So it's not specific like you have to know this or know that. There's like you can try anything. Even a small change in documentation comes under open source. So I think it's really a good way to learn more about computer science and all the technologies as well.
Yeah, actually, Aniket,
Yes,
the basic problem is like if you have best projects and best development skills, you will not get any job in this world. The problem is because freelancers are giving the same product as you will give in less and in less time and in less budget. So no one will hire you if you only depend on the projects and development skills. You must have the problem solving skills to show that you are different from the freelancers that are on some website like Fiverr and any other website. So making the DS and algo is the main should be your main goal from now.
see, like as I said, you see, if you even if you see the on-campus interviews, like if they conduct 1 hour interview, so it's like in those 1 hours they will focus more on DSA. They will spend like 40 minutes on solving one or two questions first. Once you have not done that, then they're already sure that they are not going to select you. So basically, if you see most of the like if it's a 1 hour interview also, they'll focus 30 to 40 minutes on that only. So like I said, both are important. I'm not saying that that development skills are not important, projects are not important, but the most important thing is that these companies, they always would prefer person who are good at data structures and algorithms rather than these problems, because these development skills and all, they can teach you. In training they can teach you, they will give you 2 months training. Most of the companies give it, so they can teach you. But these data structures and algorithms is a long thing. It will take about 1 or 2 years to be pretty good at it. I'm not saying that you can't be good in 6 months also, it's there. But sure, like if you want to be good, you want to get into big tech companies and all, then you have to spend some time on that rather than that. So that's what I said. Like as I said, both are important, but most importantly, if you don't clear that cutoff of DSL algo, then I don't think that your interviewer will try to select you. They will straight away they will reject you because they know that don't have the problem solving skills. So like I said, try to keep a balance of both, but focus more on DSA.
And secondly, the projects you will make are in will be in the languages that are not used by the company because the companies are having their private languages to make. So
Yeah, that
they
is
will
another thing. Like, suppose you are applying for a job in which they need Java, and maybe you would have done a project in C++. So, like,
yeah
then there is another company who has done the project in Python. So that can also happen. So, yeah, as a
yeah. If you only depend on your projects and development skill, there is very less chance if you will get the package above 5 lakhs. Because Infosys also they have started taking the DS Algo test first, and it's pretty tough. It was pretty tough in this time.
Yeah, like last year I also like gave the same Infosys test as well. So they were 2 rounds, both were DSL Go. And then even in the interview, I like my interview was about 1 hours 20 minutes. So about 45 minutes he grilled me with only DSL Go only. And then he asked me database and all that projects and stuff. But as I said again, the major portion was DSA. If I didn't solve that DSA, I wouldn't have been selected. So that's what I said. That most of the companies are preferring DSA now to get shortlisted. So like I said, keep a balance between both, but DSA is the most important. And if we are talking about really big, companies like those FANG companies and which you hear on LinkedIn and YouTube and all, so they like if they take 5 rounds, they will take 4 rounds DSA only. They will only take the last round for projects and all. But 4 out of 5 rounds they will take DSA only. So if you are targeting those companies, then definitely you need DSA, data structure and algorithms.
Yeah. Second question is, will taking many projects help? Actually, Siddharth, you can only put 2 projects on your resume. So
Like
it
they
depends.
will
Yeah,
put
it
two
depends
to
on
three
few.
projects only. So you can make more projects to learn more about development and all. But yeah, as I said, only 2 and 3 projects are put on your resume. Focus more on getting skills rather than projects. Like That's most important.